Right there. Hello, everybody. It's Drinker and Mauler, and we're here once again. This one's a little bit of a catch up stream, if you catch my drift, because we did Open Bar 60, and then I selfishly went off to Houston for a week, so we didn't really get our normal opportunity to do all the super chat catch ups that we normally do.
Yes.
But we don't believe in leaving super chats behind, so we're going to do that tonight. So welcome to last orders for Open Bar 60. So if you had outstanding supers from that, we're going to get through them right damn now. How does that sound?
They thought we wouldn't catch up to it.
Nothing escapes the long drinker. Well, anyway, we've got the first one here, which is from Campbell Patterson, who says, greetings, amazing panel. Can I get a shout out for my 20th birthday next week? You guys are legendary. Thank you, man. And, well, we may have missed that birthday in light of this, but I hope you had an amazing day, man. Happy birthday to you. Casey Boyd says, get some barbecue in Houston. It's a sin if you don't. That is very true. And I did get some nice barbecue ribs when I was there and some really good brisket. So I did my best. There wasn't like a huge number of like really like decent restaurants in the area. Like we were downtown, and then basically all you have around you is big skyscrapers with nothing interesting in them. So we had to make do, but had some nice food anyway. Sam Wallace Art says, so glad you enjoyed the third section, Mauler.
So glad you enjoyed the third section. Oh, Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I did indeed.
Silent Evil says, future war scenes in Terminator 1 are chintzy and cheap, yet to me visually they blow away the VFX in any obese $300 million Hollywood sci-fi production today. I kind of agree. Like,
true. Yeah,
they've just got this lovely gritty quality to them, and like they're just used sparingly. Like they don't last for too long.
So something that sticks in my head from Dark Fate was this. There's a shot, I don't remember when it happens in the film, it's some future flash, whatever, and there's like a whole bunch of those stupid fucking Terminators that are like half goo and half machine, and they're like all flying around and land, and then they all get cut up or something. I can't quite remember how it goes, but I just remember thinking like, ugh, like they all get drop shipped in, and there's just like, look at that, it's like two Terminators coming out of one Terminator, isn't that scary? Meanwhile, there's a shot from Terminator 1 that I'll never forget my entire fucking life. It's when I think we're with Kyle Reese, and he's seen like all the survivors, and this is kind of his home, and then the dogs start barking.
Yeah.
And they realize there's a Terminator, and then he unveils like a weapon, and there's this shot where it's like all blue lit, and you can just see the red in his eyes as he's walking forward. It's fucking horrifying. Oh.
That was actually played by Franco Columbo, Arnold Schwarzenegger's good friend.
That's pretty cool.
But it is, yeah. He was able to get work for his fellow bodybuilders. But yeah, I remember that scene very well, actually. And yeah, again, Terminator 1 wasn't done on a huge budget, but like all those scenes where he's like going through the underground bunker and it's all dingy, and like they've got people like looking for rats to eat and stuff. It conveys a whole lot in a short space of time. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Boyd says, would you recommend Showdown in Little Tokyo? I haven't seen it, but I bought a case of DVDs for cheap and it seemed interesting. I mean, I'd love to recommend it. I just don't know if it's good or not. I haven't seen it, I'm afraid. Sorry, man. But my advice, give it a go, because it sounds good. OMG Puppies says, Day One is a great show about the A-bomb. Brian Dennehy plays General Groves, often underappreciated as engineer project manager, the designer of the Pentagon. David Strathairn is good as Oppenheimer. Nice. Okay. Good recommendation. Waylon Bucephus asks the all-important question, do gingers have souls?
I mean, we all know the answer.
I mean, has science proven the existence of ginger souls? I don't think so.
Yeah, because they've definitely proven souls, but ginger souls is the whole other thing.
Yeah, I would say, I'm going to trust the science here, and I'm going to be skeptical about it. Whodunit says, we need more baggage claim, Jedi Brooks, and Platoon, please. Well, I mean, we aim to please, and we brought Platoon on for the last one, Open Bar 61, so
we'll get them all back. Don't you worry.
OMG Puppies says, Peckinpah's Wild Bunch is interesting. It takes place at the tail end of the Wild West era, people driving Model T Fords and the Mexican Revolution. I remember the Wild Bunch, actually. I'm sure for quite a long time it had set the record for like the most number of squibs and blood packs in a Western, or in any movie up until that point. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Good one.
Yeah. Sean DLM says, just been to the Caribbean. Nice. I was speaking to other holiday makers when one guy mentioned the message. Needless to say, there were high fives and drinks all around. Here's to yours. You're making an impact. That is pretty fucking cool. It's just like connecting with drinker fans all over the world. You just have to hear the catchphrase and away you go.
You bring people together, drinker. That's what matters.
That's it. Yeah, we are forging alliances and stuff and bringing about unity. Pathkeeper says Barbie earned so much because it was the first chick flick in the vein of Legally Blonde in years, just like Top Gun Maverick tapped into the crowd who wanted a patriotic film. I mean, it seems like it, yeah, because like if you'd asked me to name another movie that was unequivocally female oriented, I'd probably struggle, like in terms of mainstream cinema releases over the past several years. I don't think there's been much.
The Descent.
The Descent. That was from like 15 years ago, but yeah.
Oh, sure. 15 years. That's like yesterday. It's fine.
Yeah. But I guess in that weird sense, I think that's kind of a good thing. Barbie's doing this. It's almost like, okay, fine. You can have your movies for the girls and we'll have our movies for the guys. And, we can each enjoy our own thing. Rather than just trying to make...
That, the girls can have movies that are good too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Barbie's one of them, but
no,
they can have movies that they're entitled to enjoy.
I end up feeling bad when it's like, well, it's not meant for men, it's meant for women. I'm like, well, wait, but it's also shit. Like, even if,
like, Daniel Warden says, I know Drinker likes Tulsa King, but have you also watched Yellowstone? It is directed by the same person. I know it's Taylor Sheridan. He seems to be slowly taking over the whole of TV right now because, yeah, he's got Tulsa King, Yellowstone, multiple seasons of that, 1923, I think, and like 1883. So a whole bunch of shows. There was one other one that he's done recently. Is it the Spec Ops Lioness? I think that's him. But yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff. I quite like his style. Kevin O'Neill says, still willing to give Deadpool 3 a chance whenever it happens, but these endless Mint Mobile ads have made me physically sick of Ryan Reynolds' voice. I'm not going to disagree there.
Happen.
I think, like, I don't know, what was your attitude towards Deadpool 2? Because I don't think we've talked about it.
I only saw it the one time, and I remember thinking, like, I think I laughed a couple times, and I thought it was kind of fun. There's I think the biggest laugh was the Brad Pitt death. That actually got me.
That was pretty good.
Funny, but I don't know. It didn't hit me as hard as the first one. I think the first one felt a lot more special, I guess. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't feel like the Deadpool world clashes well with things that's supposed to be serious as well. But I don't fucking know. We've talked about how there's loads of stuff working against it. There's a couple of things working for it. This is definitely one of those we'll have to see because I'm not very hopeful, but I'm willing to give it a chance, of course.
I mean, yeah, I wonder sometimes, like, does Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool get a little bit much sometimes, for lack of a better term?
I mean, I'm assuming you agree, but the character, he is just Ryan Reynolds in almost everything he's ever done.
I think maybe that's it, and it's like in a sense, I feel like I've seen Deadpool like about 7 times now because of like every other movie that he's in, he's just doing the same thing. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, you're funny, but like sometimes like too much of your humor just comes across as like you're trying a bit too hard, and maybe it's just starting to wear off a little. I'm not sure. I feel bad criticizing him because. I mean, he seems like a really nice guy, and like he's obviously having fun doing it. So I don't want to shit on him too much. It's just like, sometimes I almost wish he would just like tone it down just a little. Sometimes,
I mean, a Wolverine opposing him for a foil like that could be really fun. And those two have pretty good chemistry in real life, I assume, because they're friends, right?
Yeah,
I've seen some like ads with them together, so I have some hope. But also not a lot of hope because of, like I said, the writers' strike hit at the same time. And even though, right, because a lot of people, when the premiere for my Ant-Man video was happening, people were like, why do we care that they're on strike again? Because, like, obviously the Ant-Man writing was when it was non-strike. But it seems that precedent tells us that writers not being them actually makes things even worse.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see the effects of it. We weren't going to see it this year, and we might see parts of it next year, but who knows when we'll actually see all the big hitters for the fact that the strike happened. And yeah, and of course it sits in this horrible cultural, I don't know, just mess of what's going on with the superhero movies and stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen. Hard to say.
Simon Ho says Barbie's success was based on nostalgia bait and switch for women who grew up on eating disorder Barbie and unattainable dream Barbie, and the reward for their shortcomings, blame the patriarchy. I mean, the movie tries to address some of that stuff. I guess it's so ham-fisted and it doesn't really know how to stick with its messaging. That yeah, I feel like it gives you a bunch of mixed messages, I guess, about its own attitude towards what Barbie is and what it represents. And yeah, the whole movie is just kind of a mess. Seas said, growing up, Barbie was always about girl power for 50 plus years. Why is it now that these losers in Hollywood think they discovered fire? Well, that's basically every writer at the moment in Hollywood. Yeah, if you have Jennifer Lawrence, a strong female character in an action movie, it's well, they act as if they blazed that trail and no one had ever done it before them. I don't know, man. It's just maybe it's the arrogance of youth. Maybe they just don't even care about the history of film or anything that anyone accomplished before them. Maybe they just didn't even bother watching anything like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, man, it's something that pisses me off when people try to take credit for other people's work. Russell M says, the last big writers' strike circa 2008, we got Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. Just curious about your thoughts on it, if you watched it, and if you might consider a review in honor of the current strike. I've never heard of that in my life. I have no clue what that is. I just know... Sorry.
So, well, I was just going to say, it's that Joss Whedon made that with, I think, what's his name? Neil Patrick Harris?
Okay.
I think, yeah, it's just I never knew a lot about it. I did watch it. I think, yeah, Felicia Day is in it. And Nathan Fillion, yeah, because he's Captain Hammer. Never actually fully checked it out, I don't think. Now I'm starting to wonder if I was right in saying it is Joss Whedon. I assume it is, because they're all of his regulars in some way, shape, or form as well. But because it that, and he did something in his house as well, Whedon, because of the strike. Weird things happen during strikes, apparently, but yeah, can't say whether or not it's great or not.
I just remember the impact it had on so many TV shows at the time, which were huge. Yeah, I mean, some of them never really recovered, so yeah, it wasn't a good thing. The Master says Barbie is Gerwig fighting with her cognitive dissonance between the irreconcilable differences between humanity and feminism. It's pure gynocentrism. I mean, yeah, I mean, we've obviously talked about the movie at length in terms of what it's trying to say and how effectively it gets its points across. There's kind of a lot going on there. Not much of it is good. Cyber Leader says, Part 1, cringy Phase 4 Defender on YouTube, grown man, by the way. Hope it gave you a laugh. To all those haters whining about this movie, shut up. And Part 2, because you clearly don't know what you're talking about, and if you don't, raise his fists. I can do this all day. He thought that was so cool. So, who's the cringy Phase 4 Defender?
Is it... that's not their name, right? Or is it? Or is it just what they're referring to?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me have a quick look.
Cringy Phase 4 Defender. I doubt someone would call themselves that.
No, I'm not seeing anything there.
I'm not sure. I might just be forgetting the reference.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. Sorry, I'm not sure what that's a reference to then. But yeah, I don't doubt that there are people like that. They will go through all kinds of mental gymnastics to try and defend it. It's really interesting, actually. I don't know if it's like Stockholm syndrome or something for a lot of these people. It's like, no, I have to defend this gigantic mega corporation that's producing shit because I base my whole identity on that.
It does get a bit weird sometimes, but if they genuinely love it, I doubt that. Then fine.
Flav says, they see Ken here, they see Ken there, says Barbie's land is real unfair. Eagerly rallying against the fascist state, but he's a dedicated follower of Barbie. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. That's pretty good. Roger Rubio says, man, even Screen Rant is doing a The MCU is Dead 30-minute video. Secret Invasion really does feel like a turning point. We've been saying since Thor Love and Thunder, but now even the shills are having to acknowledge this stuff. Yeah, it's been
I feel like we've been saying it way earlier than Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder was a time where, if you remember, people turned on the MCU quite quickly as well. But Secret Invasion feels like everyone is treating this as though we've all agreed for ages, and it's just like, well, you guys are catching up to us. That's what's happened. Which is fine, by the way. Like,
I mean, I called it, and there's a video to back this up. Literally after Endgame was done, I think we had Spider-Man: Far From Home, which was that weird like holdover of of Phase 3. I never understood why they put that there, but whatever. And then when they started releasing the slate of movies for Phase 4, I made a video saying I don't think I really care about this anymore. It was just like, no, this seems pointless.
EFAP, I think we said Loki was, once we'd seen Loki, we were like, so it's dead, it's over. Once Loki, Falcon the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Black Widow, those 4 together, we were just like, you can't have 4 complete duds in a row and expect like no damage to take place. And then we obviously said like there's some stuff left, like Spider-Man, like Guardians, but the fact is you killed it too much. Like Spider-Man can't drag you back up, and neither can Guardians, nor can they together.
It's going to be okay though, because Blue Beetle's going to save DC on film. I'm very confident.
It's got a worse opening than Shazam, isn't it?
I know. I watched the first half hour of it. I mean, can you believe I drove all the way to the movie theater just to watch half an hour and then drove all the way home again?
Really
it's crazy. Yeah, I'm that dedicated. I'll have to go back tomorrow to finish it. But it was
put it on pause for you. You're like, can I come back tomorrow? And the whole audience is like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll just kill time until you get here, drinker. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. The bit that I've seen so far has been fine, I guess. It's just really generic. Like, don't know.
I could probably make you hate it.
I think you probably could, yeah. Let me see the whole thing, and then, yeah.
I thought it was pretty unpleasant to watch, that film, but it was... The big thing, I think I sent you a message about it, I was really surprised at how much I felt was just, like, you really liked Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1, didn't you, director?
I see the parallels there for sure.
I see a lot more as the film goes on too. I was just like, okay, but it felt like a really, I don't know, lame version of that, like hollow vision.
It was the family as well. Like, how can I put this? Like, if they were Italian, they'd all have mustaches and they would all be sitting down to a big plate of spaghetti and going like, "Mamma mia!"
Yeah, like, they do the shit. They're like, "Do you want tacos? Do you want salsa? Oh, you want?" It's just like, why?
The guy's car, even the horn does the La Cucaracha thing. Like,
yeah,
really? Come on, like, how about you break the trend here? Yeah, I'll tell you what was weird though. Seeing what's her name? Lipidia, whatever her name is, Anna from Predator. Seeing her now as like a sort of late middle-aged woman, as the mother of the family, that was weird.
Holy shit, I didn't even realize that was her.
That was the actress. I saw her name like on the credits, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to keep my eye out for her. And then, yeah, sure enough, like the moment she showed up, I recognized her. Like, she's 40 years older or whatever, but like you can see it.
Wow.
And that's weird because I don't think I've seen her in anything since Predator. It's like she did that, and then she did this like 35 years later or whatever, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she has been in other things, but I don't know about them.
Nor do I.
Anyway, Scott Roche says, just wanted to thank the Critical Drinker and Mauler for helping me figure out the specific reasons that I dislike modern media. Well, we're doing a public service, so thank you. Okay, that's the next one. Tyler James says, hey, Drinker, did you finish Cowboy Bebop? If so, what are your thoughts? I think it's a masterpiece. I think I've got... Was it one more season to go? I've seen it for a bit of it anyway. I've seen a good chunk of the show and really liked it. Yeah, we're talking obviously about the original anime, not the Netflix version. But the characters are really quirky and cool. It does, it's got some really funny, like, goofy humor at times, but it also goes into like dead serious shit. Like, it can turn on a dime. It's really impressive. Yeah, I like it. Rory Swain says, hail to the Drinker and Co. I just hope that you're all well. Thank you. I think we are.
Thank you. Yeah,
Are we well?
I think so.
G Unit says, are there any fan films that any of you like? I strongly recommend Bat in the Sun. Their short film, Batman Dying is Easy, far surpasses anything that Warner has shot out in the last decade. As for me, I've seen Predator Dark Ages. I thought that was pretty good. I like that.
The question was fan films, is it?
Yeah.
I should have seen more. I think I've seen the one you're talking about as well. I definitely saw Predator versus Batman. It was fun.
Oh, really?
It's an old one.
How'd that work out?
I can't remember if Batman managed to survive that, but of course I'm sure plenty of Batman fans would say he would win, even though I don't know. I think we'd have some trouble maybe, but
I think he's pretty resourceful. You know,
yeah.
If someone like Dutch or Harrigan can take on a Predator and win, I think Batman could probably do it.
That's fair. I guess just if the Predator just gets the jump on him and plasmas him straight away. I don't know.
Yeah. You either need decent armor that's gonna like absorb some of it, or because armor will actually absorb a plasma blast. We see that in Predator 2, where it kind of vaporizes plate metal, but like it'll stop it.
Yeah.
So something like that might help. Scarfy the Strange says, the state and the corporate arm of the state are the only true love that you are allowed to have. Love the party, love Big Brother. God. Okay.
All right then.
Long Cut JD Bruce says, do you think there might be those that see the Barbie movie as a satire of the extreme message? That might be why it did well. I mean, I there's a lot of like movie critics that seem to be going down that road that like, oh yeah, it criticizes both sides, and I keep thinking, well, it doesn't really seem to. If it does, it does it with very little gusto.
Well,
when it comes
a lot
to
of people said
the message,
The Boys criticizes both sides.
Yeah.
Nice and satisfying.
I think with Barbie, it's like, for example, when Barbie meets the young girl that she thought has been playing with her, and she's like, "You're fascist, Barbie. I hate you because you like ruined the image of women forever and all that stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Right? There are a lot of people arguing, well, that's just a mockery of like the modern extreme attitude to things like Barbie and like how ludicrous it is. And it's like, okay, I could go with that if the movie ever like repudiates that character for saying that stuff and proves her wrong, but it doesn't. And I think Greta Gerwig even came out and said, no, like she needed a scene where Barbie is getting specifically criticized by someone who's intelligent and correct. And that's the scene. So it's like, yeah, you can fuck off with that. Like, oh yeah, it's criticizing everything equally. Like, no, it's not. Like, Scarfy the Strange says, I'm reminded of a meme on what people want in a fantasy woman. Men want a bikini armored warrior chick, and corporations want a fat androgynous warrior chick. Women want a beautiful girl in a ball gown. Interesting. Yeah, I would take a bikini armored warrior chick. That would do. Casey Boyd says, building a DVD collection per your recommendations. There's lots of old movies that I haven't seen. Just watched the first Mission Impossible and Ghostbusters. Jesus, you haven't seen Ghostbusters?
Well,
you're in for a treat there.
Yeah, it's kind of good news in a way.
But yeah, do it, and good luck with your collection. And then you've got it forever, and no one can take it away from you. Unless the bank repossesses your house or something and takes all your stuff. But, hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, hope it's not.
Meme Your Life says, no context, but I'm happy to do my part in funding your addiction. Thanks. Seriously, no, we need a drinker fixes Barbie. Do it, I dare you. That would actually be an interesting little exercise, wouldn't it? Like, okay, how can I write a Barbie movie that, keeps the kind of core messaging, but actually does it in a way that's entertaining? I don't know.
And write some funny jokes as well. That could work.
I feel like it could be done, yeah. It's just like how much detail do I want to go into here to like the level of like recurring jokes and gags and all that stuff.
So make Ken the president by the end.
Yeah, I just say I want the Kendom to just rule everything because he's awesome. Timmy 04 says Open Bar 60, let's go. Michael Hedberg is one of the two writers for Amnesia Dark Descent and the sole writer for Soma. By that logic, is he one of your favorite writers ever?
Yes, and he was not on for Amnesia Rebirth, which could help explain why I hated that game so much. And I believe he's writing Alone in the Dark, the remake of that, so that's why I'll have interest in that. But yes, Soma is one of my favorite stories of all time, so I do quite like his writing, I guess you could say.
Nice. Daniel Warden says, Snow Brown and the 7 magical creatures who will overthrow the evil queen who isn't actually evil because it was all a man's fault. Sounds about right. Blue Team Epsilon, have you seen Going in Style? Good cheeseburger movie about family and a bank robbery. Also, I find that working adults use TikTok more than kids. Really? Jesus. No, I haven't seen Going in Style, actually, but I like a cheeseburger movie. JP says, female-led sci-fi The Power on Amazon was horrid. The Power, that's where women can like blast bolts of electricity out of their hands or something, isn't it? I'm sure it's something crazy like that. It's yeah, I've heard about this. And so it's like, well, how does the world cope with women suddenly having the power to, like, you know, blast men out of existence around them if they get mad? Yeah, it just seems like your typical sort of power fantasy thing, I guess. That performer says, baggage claim. I think Henry gets abused by Hollywood because he won't drink the kiddie blood. Adrenochrome. Okay. I don't think Henry needs that kind of thing. He's awesome. Sam Wallace Art says, Cavill's popular with the wrong audience, all 97% of them. I think that's it. He's definitely struggling in terms of, like, I guess the opportunities he gets in Hollywood. He seems to have been let down quite a lot of times. Flag Ninja says, I watched TNG as a kid when the episodes first aired. The idea that shows need to be dumbed down for kids holds no weight for me. I agree. Like, you shouldn't really have to dumb them down. You can sometimes make the themes a little bit more obvious because kids might not pick up on subtext quite the way adults do. But yeah, I think they should still, you should credit your audience with a bit of intelligence. Daniel Warden says, I feel that another reason is the people in charge of writing are those lowest denominator people. They quite often are, it seems. Skullgar Thane says, best case but still bad, the writers themselves never grew up. How do you do, fellow kids? It does seem like, yeah, a lot of the time they haven't really had the life experience that you'd want from a writer who's meant to write adult characters. Andrew Clark says, talking about children's stories, their books, like their clothes, should allow for growth, and their books, at any rate, should encourage it. That is a good quote. I like that. JP says, was the SNW crossover at least good fan service? Strange New Worlds. I think they had a crossover with Lower Decks, which is interesting because I absolutely don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean, like, I never really give a shit about Lower Decks, and Strange New Worlds, from what I've heard, is kind of gash anyway, so I had no real interest in either of them. I don't know. It seems like Star Trek is just gimmicks at the moment, especially Strange New Worlds. You know, let's do a musical episode. Let's cross over with this animated series that we've done that nobody seems to watch. But Star Trek is flourishing, apparently. That's what I've heard. John Goetz says, excuse me, Mr. Witcher director, what was that? I couldn't hear you over my 60-hour Final Fantasy XVI playthrough with its fantastic story full of intertwining pursuits of various religious factions and nations and incredible personal journeys and arcs. I mean, that is true. It's a pretty good game. Yeah, I would take Final Fantasy XVI over The Witcher any day. At least I'd take the game over the TV show. Sam Wallace Art says, Lemino says, drops a feature-length documentary about the exact layout of a book depot in Dallas and why it hired a temporary worker that week. Everyone else watches it in one sitting. Kids are dumb till you bother to challenge them. Okay.
All
I'm not
right.
sure what that's a reference to, but yeah, sure.
AFK video, but I'm not sure what he's saying exactly.
It's a me says, revenge is not a virtue, but pop culture seems obsessed with arguing that it is and making heroes act it out. That's an interesting perspective, actually. Yeah. It used to be quite a thing that, you know, revenge was usually the motivator for the antagonist, and the hero would always pull back from it at the crucial moment because they were supposed to be more virtuous, I guess. Anon42 says, I'm trying to find movies or a TV series to watch. If each of you had to recommend only one decent movie or TV series to watch, what would it be?
One decent movie.
Or TV
Probably
show.
Lord of the Rings.
All of them are just one.
Yes.
Not
Not a cheat answer.
I might suggest Star Trek: The Next Generation, or Stargate SG-1 in terms of TV shows, because they will keep you going for quite some time. Telperian says Doctor Strange should act as the call operator at the Avengers Emergency Portal Dispatch Center, where he takes distress calls from superheroes and instantly portals the right back up to their location. I think, at this point, there really should be some kind of mechanism in place to like bring in reinforcements.
Yeah,
because like really, how many times can they keep doing this?
Where there should be a base, an enormous HQ. There should be like, like with the teleporters in Star Trek, there should be a room like that, and that's where all the portals can come in and out. But they still actually need to call ahead to restrict the area to make sure they don't kill anyone by arriving. That sort of stuff. All this like official and normal thing, like none of that would be considered. But if it were all considered and then simply shown to us quickly, like you don't need to fully explain it through, like, because everyone always does that. They're like, oh, you want like a fucking essay on how exactly anything works. She's like, no, I just want to feel like the writer gave a shit. That's all.
Yeah, it would be nice. I just think I think we talked about this on the open bar the other week. I think it'd be nice as like a little one shot, like goofy comedy skit where like I don't know, Spider-Man's got a bit of a problem with like an enemy, and like Captain Marvel just portals in and obliterates the guy instantly, and then just leaves, like sorts the problem out in like seconds. Because like that's kind of power levels you're dealing with, it could be done quite easily. Bender says J.J. Abrams' Star Trek is a good movie, just not a good Star Trek movie. If The Last Jedi was at the same level, then Star Wars would still make dollars. I mean, I don't even know if it's a good movie, if I'm honest with you, because it's so simplistic and it's so clunky, and it's just so predicated on like member berries, like, oh, we're having fun with Kirk and Spock and McCoy again.
Wasn't it Rob Burnett that was pointing out like it's just fundamentally broken as a film? It's your whole world was destroyed, all of your people were killed. You get time travel and you decide to use that to take revenge. It's like,
yes,
bro.
Yeah, it's like I feel like you're missing the bigger possibilities here. Yeah, it's dumb. Like Nero as the antagonist is just really boring and flat, and just an angry guy who wants to take revenge on things. Like there's nothing to him. So yeah, it's just shit. Wine and Dissent says, have I had one too many, or is today Wednesday? Appreciate getting open bar a day early rather than missing another week. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do something, so it definitely wasn't thrown together at the last minute, because I totally realized that week that we didn't actually have a Thursday available, but I'm glad we were able to do it. Sam Wallace Art says, Rick and Morty is the worst thing to happen to modern Hollywood. Hack writers who could only recycle and pillory old ideas. Rick and Morty normalized satire being taken more seriously than the classics it would be nothing without.
I mean, I'm not going to go... I don't like giving credit to projects like that in that way. That's insane. Like, the idea that that's to blame for, like, everything to go wrong or whatever. Or that people blame Marvel for everything going wrong. And then people are like, well, if it was on Marvel, it's Joss Whedon that made everything go wrong. It's like, guys, it's just, like, cultural trends that match lots of different things. Rick and Morty had plenty of really good episodes. And plenty of good things would have been inspired from them. But they got stale, iterative, just like everything often does. And shit.
Yep. Soteris Parabolus says, start a fund to launch a studio led by Terry Metalis and Tony Gilroy. Get Neil Marshall signed on. Long Drunk Studios. We should do that, by the way.
Yeah, right.
We could have fun. Party Elm CV says, Bear McCreary's Battlestar Galactica OST has some of the best music. I agree. You made a good point there. Zachary Sverkey says, anyone on the panel seen the movie Arrival? I felt like that was a long Star Trek episode in modern day. Would recommend. Yeah, I quite liked it.
I was not fond.
You were not fond.
No, but I need to rewatch it to give you more on that.
I think the ending was kind of dumb, as I recall. Like knowing she essentially gets to see her own future of like having a kid, but it's going to die. But she decides to do it anyway because she wants to experience that, like, that happiness and tragedy. It's like a bit of an odd creative choice, I suppose. Yeah, I think the concept for the aliens was kind of interesting. It was a bit different. Lazy Annihilator says, watching a little behind, so apologies if it's been asked already. Mauler, have you talked to Drinker about being told to Minecraft himself for a Barbie review? Love the show.
Yeah, Hassan Piker told you to kill yourself.
Which was nice. I appreciate that. What does Minecraft yourself have to do with it?
Well, that's what they're saying, is so they can get past censors.
What, does Minecraft just become a stand-in for like kill?
Well, yeah. So I can actually trace this. What happened was, like, streamers originally started to say, "Oh, fucking kill yourself," and then they would go ... in a game,
Right.
in a game, so that they're clean. You know, they don't get in trouble for actually saying to kill yourself. But then people just started saying "kill yourself," you know, in Minecraft, because that is a game. And then somehow it evolved, because even to the point where Az will say "Minecraft yourself," and it's like, what? But that's just language for you. It's evolved.
God.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love the internet. Sometimes I kind of hate it, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love how I'm not even touching on the fact that he told me to kill myself.
Well, who gives a fuck,
seems
right?
Hassan seems like a really nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Hayden says, "Have you seen Enemy Mine?" Yes, I have. Yeah, it's Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr., I think. I remember kind of liking it at the time. I guess a bit goofy towards the end, but I like the concept behind it. I don't know if you've ever seen it more.
No, I don't think so.
Essentially, like a sci-fi movie, like humans are at war with an alien race. Two of them are like dogfighting in space fighters, and they both get shot down on a like barren, uninhabited planet, and they have to learn to work together to survive. Sounds a bit goofy, and it kind of is. It feels like it was probably taken from like an old World War II movie, like a Japanese and an American fighter pilot both got shot down on a desert island somewhere. I don't know. Well, similar premise, I guess. I think the acting really helps it. TL1524 says, Drinker, do you think that Orville was a decent example of what Star Trek fans wanted? A fan, i.e. Seth, writing for fans? I think so. I think it was compromised by the fact that they wanted a comedy out of him, and he kind of just wanted to do more serious sci-fi, so it was always having to walk that line. But I think apparently it got more serious as it went on, and he was just allowed to indulge his Star Trek love. I think you can tell just by the way it's framed and stuff, like they were definitely going for a TNG approach, and it's cool. Yeah, it's if Star Trek doesn't want to be Star Trek anymore, then I guess things like this are going to step in to try and replace it. Soteris Parabolus says, could they have done this Darmok style? This species only understands rhythmic vocal communication. Mr. Spock, you're saying we have to sing at them? I mean, I guess like that was different. And Mo, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about.
Vaguely following, but all right.
The short version is there's an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where they encounter a species that only communicates via metaphor. So,
no, yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, they're saying that you could do that, but with song, I guess.
Yeah, but then I guess that's slightly different because, like in this case, the song just communicates exactly what you're saying. You're just, doing it with a tune.
Yeah.
Whereas that other species, like they need like specific cultural references to make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I just don't give a fuck about Strange New Worlds, no matter what they do. Matt Tolowski says, I would love to hear your take on Looper, given I see it as a major strong outing and an outlier in the Rian Johnson lineup. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have a tough time when you're dealing with time travel because you have to set some really strict rules about how it works. And Looper just says, fuck it. Like, we can just do whatever we want at any given time, and we don't have to worry about any of it. The fundamental premise as well, where it's like in the because it's set in the near future, but then there's the far future where you can't really murder people anymore because like they've got all kinds of tracking chips and stuff in them. So what they do instead is send them back to the past where they can conveniently murder them then. And yet you see a flash forward to the future where Bruce Willis's wife just gets straight up murdered in front of him in the future. So clearly that doesn't matter.
Whole world building is absolutely broken, and then for the people in the crowd who are going to be like, yeah, okay, fine, the time travel stuff doesn't make much sense, but I really like the character stuff. This is one of the movies where all of the poor writing for the world building and the time travel bleeds into the characters, because the mechanics, as stated in terms of how we understand them to work, should be how the characters understand them to work as well. But then if you actually think about the actions they take, it doesn't make any sense. And then you have Bruce Willis shouting at the camera to just shut the fuck up and stop thinking about it, which is not cool.
Yeah, like having a conversation with himself in a restaurant in the past, and it's like, well, you're surely going to know exactly how this whole conversation plays out. And he's like, well, no, I can only like remember it after you've said it. Oh, fuck off. Like,
yeah,
we are literally just making this up as we go along, clearly. Yeah, it's bullshit. Tevin Daniels says, now that The Witcher ended terribly, the old fantasy that they've left are Robert E. Howard's Conan books and Michael Moorcock's Elric saga. So I don't know if they're doing something with Elric. They might be. I know with Conan, that's been stuck in development hell for years because the rights have been all over the place. And Jennifer Salke, who was in charge at Amazon, didn't want to do a Conan series, even though they apparently had a really good script set up for it, because she felt like it was too toxically masculine, and so they went and did Rings of Power instead. So yeah, how did that work out for you, Jennifer? I'd quite like to see a proper authentic Conan series or movie. I know we've had the Arnie version. We won't talk too much about the Jason Momoa version, but to see a good, just balls to the wall, violent, loads of nudity, loads of blood and guts, and killing Conan story. That'd be good. I think people would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Roger Rubio says, I really appreciate this lineup of the open bar. Here at work on my lunch, drinking an ice cold lime Jarritos soda. Well, nice. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Intelligent Crayon Eater says, how do we get to the point where a parody of Star Trek by Seth MacFarlane is more in line with Gene Roddenberry's vision than current Star Trek? Well, shit writing, really. There's so many of these founders, I think, who would just be absolutely turning in their grave if they saw what happened to their properties. Gene Roddenberry, Walt Disney, George Lucas. He's not dead yet, but it'll happen. I just think he must just absolutely despise what his work has become.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I described it once as like franchises that were created by geniuses and inherited by morons. And I think that's pretty much hold true. TGV Monster says, you and Mahler should do an EFAP of the Halloween series for October. And if you do, I'm sorry for Resurrection and Halloween Ends. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Halloween movies would be cool. I did the first one, I think. I've done that as like a Halloween thing last year, which I loved. I thought it was a great, charming little horror movie. I'd love to do Halloween 3 with you. That's just bonkers. Where it's just
we could.
That was where they just said, no, fuck it, we're just going to go off on a complete tangent, and it's got nothing to do with any of the other Halloween films. Okay. We can do something. Margie M says, they want us to stop liking the original Avengers characters. They're also introducing too many new characters who we will never see again. Eternals, lol. Yeah. You mean you're not excited to see all the Eternals again? What have they been doing all this time, actually?
I don't know. Dude, the amount of characters that have been introduced in Phase 4 that aren't going to be remembered at all.
What's going on with that Eternal? That Celestial just sticking out of the ocean.
Well, there's that. There's fucking remember Jon Snow is in Eternals. He's the Black Knight or something, right? I remember someone saying, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
At this point, it's just like no one knows, no one cares. It's just like,
Nope.
Absolute Amoeba says, watched Barbie last week. Ryan Gosling is that movie's only saving grace. Some of the lines said really bother me, like how fathers don't receive any hate from kids. Like, what? Was wondering if you'd seen it yet. Yes, we have seen it. Funnily enough.
we weren't fan of it,
But yeah, that was clearly a line by like a feminist who I guess doesn't have kids or anything. But yeah, like fathers don't get any hate from their kids. Like, I don't think that's true. It would have been quite interesting to see like a little bit, in the movie, like some fathers don't even get to see their kids because they get screwed over by divorce courts, but they still have to pay for them for the next like 15, 18 years.
This is a Whammons movie, drinker, not a crying men movie. God.
Yeah. We don't want reality impinging on our movie when we've got a point we want to make about like
fantasy.
Yeah. It's just I do wonder, because I think I brought this up before, like what if you were to make a movie like Barbie but from a man's point of view, and it was just a gigantic pity party for 2 hours about how unfair the world is? I just wonder how well it would be received by mainstream media. That would be interesting. Anyway, Casey Boyd says, We need a Samurai Cop EFAP and extra shots. I think we do, actually. Samurai Cop would be good. Jaffo on the Bounds says, even in Heroes, they managed to write the all-powerful characters and managed to bring it back down a notch. But that's back when writers were writers. Indeed, yeah. Dizek of the Dead says, be seeing you this weekend, Drinker. I'm excited. Nice. Well, hopefully I got to meet you at Houston. It was a good weekend. Kryptonian Jedi says, if... What's that? Gaia now has Captain Marvel powers. Why isn't she getting entangled with all the others in the Marvels movie?
Don't think about. God, it's going to make total sense. You'll see.
Don't think about things like that. Just consume product. Casey Boyd, the Craven pun comments on the trailer are gold. Nice.
Good.
Jay's Greasy Wiggler says, open bar on a Wednesday. Christmas came early. Okay. Is Wednesday a particularly significant day? I hope so.
Christmas.
Woo! Intelligent Crayon Eater. In your opinion, why do older actors such as Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Samuel L. Jackson, and Arnold, etc., willingly accept roles that destroy their legacy? I mean, it begins with M and it ends in Unny, usually.
Unny.
Yeah.
Like
Madunny. I assume that's what it is in most cases. It's just like, yeah, we'll throw enough money at you. Fuck it, you'll do it.
Yeah.
Amra the Australian says, why didn't Skrull War Machine call the Avengers? Because that would make too much sense, I guess.
Yeah, I'm so past asking questions on Secret Invasion. None of that shit made any sense at all. Drinker didn't even have to watch it. That lucky
I know,
bastard.
I just checked right out. And you know what? I'm a happier man because of it. Although the idea that like Rhodey wasn't even Rhodey when he was bidding farewell to Tony Stark, that's just fucking disgusting. Dave T. Geek says, you actually can't get into all the vast world implication stuff and still have a relatable world. They needed to undo the snap to maintain a world that remotely resembles ours. It's unmanageable now. I mean, it seems to be like when you consider all the insane shit that's happened in the MCU, this can't be a world that like in any way resembles ours anymore. It has been bent out of shape so many times it just can never go back to what it was.
Yeah.
T1S says, fun fact, in Endgame, when they were trying to figure out time travel and accidentally turned Scott Lang into a baby, technically they accidentally invented immortality.
They did. There's
so much stuff that can just like change the whole nature of reality. Like you pointed out in your Quantum Mania video, you know, when you've got that flumpy goo stuff that you can just drink and like be able to understand any language. Like, wow. That could really revolutionize communication in our world. Can we just have a little sample of that and we can replicate it? No. Just never think about that again. Casey Boyd, they don't even have continuity with the comics they're supposed to be based on. Thanos has the deviant mutation, yet in the Eternals, we were told not to interfere unless there's deviants involved. Fuck. Ryan Standring says MCU Avengers. I know it's going to happen. What do they call it again? Like when it's just an all-women Avengers team?
The A-Force? I remember.
That's the one, yeah.
Gary mentioning it, yeah.
They're going to do it. I guarantee they'll do it, and I can't wait for it. Mr. Wise Guy says, who are you going to call? Not the Avengers anymore. Indeed. TGS Productions says, as critics, how do you differentiate between objectively bad writing and writing that you just don't enjoy? P.S. Watch Severance if you haven't. It's amazing. It is really good. Yeah, I like it. But yeah, it's a good question, I guess. Maybe for you more than me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it would come down to some kind of inconsistency. So they're establishing something internally for their continuity that goes against something else that they've said, which means there's nothing for any, like, that particular thing can't have meaning. It needs to remain consistent. So that comes down to all elements. I tried to make it bouncy and fun in the video, but that's pretty much what every single criticism I have pointed out in, like, the Ant-Man video, for example. It's always a contradiction. It's always like, you told me this, but you've also told me this. So a lot of people get confused and think that means something like, oh, you take issue with it even though it's in quantum physics. Is that too much for you? It's like, nope, I'm fine with, you could have anything work any way you want. Just don't make it also not work that way.
Would it be interesting from your perspective to review something where it's like, I recognize that the writing is internally consistent, so it's objectively good. I just don't like it personally.
Yeah, there's a few things that would qualify that way. I just don't like me reviewing it would probably be. That means I probably wouldn't have passion, and I need that if I'm going to make a 6-hour video over half a year. You know.
That is a good point. Yeah, fair play. Partly CV says, "Machine Gods. It's the Omnisaya. It's real." Nice. That's from 40K. Rahul Modi says, "After Barbie, I thought actors would shut up and pretend their film is non-woke to get a big opening weekend. Snow White actress is not the brightest person." It would seem not. No. I wonder if there's any possibility that they might recast or something. Like with all the strikes and everything going on anyway, they could probably like get away with delaying the movie quite a bit.
It's probably too late for that, right?
I mean, I guess it's just like this is almost guaranteed to be a gigantic flop, and I just don't know if at this point. Well, maybe it'd be easier to just shit can the entire movie and just say, "Nah, we're just not going to release it. It's not worth it." Chemist says, "A little observations, PGS, an open bar crossover. Yes, please. Also, hi, Mauler."
Hello.
Jay Smart says, "I thought about seeing Oppenheimer, but knowing me, I would go through the whole thing like, when's the explosion and when's he going to do the thing?" I would see it anyway. I think you'll enjoy the explosion, and there's lots of nice talky bits that are quite interesting to listen to.
Did you see the tweet? Like Logan Paul said he left the cinema because
everyone's just talking all the time.
Too much talking.
Sean Curry says, "Hey, Drinker, Mauler, and panel. Please tell me you haven't given up on happy hours. It's so much fun to watch the movie followed by the happy hour. Cheers." No, I haven't given up on that at all. It's just I've been a little bit pushed for time recently, so I haven't had time to do them. But I definitely plan to do more happy hours.
Sweet.
Max G says, "Hello, recently watched the John Wick movies, and while they weren't terrible, I don't think they were all that great. I personally think the Bourne movies were better, especially Bourne Supremacy. Am I just being old?"
I'll be old with you. John Wick 1 was like the one that I like. I don't like 2, 3, or 4.
I feel like I liked the second one, but my memory's a little bit hazy on it. I need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe.
Oh my god, what's going
on?
It. Yeah, it's okay. Everyone fucking does. I'm popular. At least I watched Extraction 2 and didn't come out hating it. I was
That's
like,
good.
yay.
Just a dumb action movie. That was fine.
I have to have the unpopular takes with John Wick and Mission Impossible. You know, so I'm looking for wins here. Okay.
Someone has to take the flak. Liam Hemmings says, "Contracts are complicated. The money clauses are not. Most of it is boilerplate." Fair dues, yeah. Liam Fibian says, "If the Snow White remake came out in the mid-2010s, they never would have gone this woke." Possibly not. No, maybe they got a bit overconfident. The Wolfram Heart says, "I can't stand Miss Zed. Love your show. RMB loved your freaking video. He was one of the last of the Titans. Cheers."
Cool.
Okay. A viewer says, "YMS made a video ragging on Drinker. Your thoughts?" Well, you can go to Muller and you'll see about 9 hours of Muller's thoughts on that one with YMS. So there you go. Joshua Delori says, "Hello, you fabulous folks. Thank you all for being one of my main ways to keep up with the train wreck of pop culture. I was also wondering if any of you all who felt up to it would wish my brother Michael a happy 27th birthday." I think we both feel up to that, don't we?
Yeah.
Michael, I hope you have an awesome 27th birthday, man. Hope you had a great day.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Vimorain says, "Hail, Drinker, an awesome panel. Who will be babysitting your doggos while you're away in the US? Apart from Dune 2, is there any movie that left to look forward to?" Oh, I don't know about you. I'm looking forward to the Marvels. But but yeah, the doggos were taken care of while I left. I have family, so it's all right. T1S says, "Rachel Zegler wants to get paid for every moment her movie streamed, and I want a shotgun pint of absinthe when I get to work each morning, but we can't all get what we want. Never a truer word was spoken, sir."
Mm-hmm.
Irish Trash says, "Take my fucking money." Okay, we will. Thanks.
All right, jeez.
Edward Chandler, "After Unbearable Weight mentioned Paddington, I was intrigued. I watched 1 and 2 and ended up the best time that I've had in a long while in a movie. Anyone seen, and what do you think? Never heard any talk about them." I think I've seen the first one and it was fine. Like, I've read the Paddington book and like as a kid and quite liked it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I haven't seen it though.
Simon Ho says, thanks for reading my super chat. Unlike some neurotic nerds, Little Mermaid, what the fuck? No way in any universe exists a black girl who can't talk. Secret Invasion's alien kiss. The hero always gets the scroll. Blah, that kiss, man. Andrew Clark says, hello, that darn kitty. Chocolate isn't candy. Okay. And Maxwell JW says, hey, Drinker, have you seen Princess Mononoke? Yes, I have. Saw it in the theater the other night for Ghibli Fest and really enjoyed it. Also, ever watched Come and See? Terrifying war movie by a Stalingrad survivor. Seen Princess Mononoke. Really like it. Good movie. Haven't seen Come and See, but apparently it's awesome. People keep recommending that to me, so I will definitely be watching it. It's meant to be very harrowing stuff. But yeah. Anyway, that is the last of the super chats. So,
all right,
we are done with that. I just want to say thank you to you guys. I'm sorry it took like a week or two to get caught up on that, but demands on my time and everything. I'm just glad we were able to get through them all and hopefully answer your questions. So, thank you for being so generous with them. And the other super chats that we've got left from Open Bar 61, we will get to them in a day or two.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, well, that I guess is all we've got for today. So, go away now.
Bye.